Welcome everyone to Neverwinter on PC. My name is Rainer and today I'm going to tell you my opinion on Mod 16. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, and if you would like to see more information or videos about Neverwinter, hit the subscribe button. I typically don't do a lot of subjective topics on my channel, but seeing that many people are really interested in this, I will tell you what I think of Mod 16. There are of course things that I like, but there are also things that I don't like. And let's start with the things that I don't like. The first thing that I don't like is the quality of the game at the moment. Basically the quality of the mod. Before the mod there were also some bugs, but Mod 16 has added a lot of bugs. It was in an awful state when it was released to public preview, and it still has a ton of bugs as of now. This is not a bash towards the dev, don't get me wrong. The main issue here is the amount of work they took upon themselves. They basically did a revolution, which is a massive overhaul of classes and statistics, and an evolution, which is a level cap race with new equipment and a new campaign, and adding reasons to go back to old content, all at the same time. It's just too much if you want to deliver quality. Now, you can solve this by just taking more time. And I'm talking not just a week, but a lot of extra time. It's done when it's done, just like Blizzard says. Let's hope the game does not hit live for quite some time. The second change that I don't like, and I've touched upon this before, is the ability score change, where all classes now have the same bonuses on ability scores. For each class, strength gives stamina regen and physical damage boost, con gives maximum hit points and AP, etc, etc. I mean, builds were made around these ability scores, and right now it's completely changed about what they mean, and I do not at all understand why this was necessary. Why swap this around and make people upset? You're forcing people to totally remake characters. They have to get a race reroll token to respec ability scores from the bottom up. Talking about races, this is also quite a bad thing. In the races section, it wasn't always one race to rules them all, but with the changes, the Dragonborn is the undoubted #1 in all cases, without any exceptions. I really don't understand why this was done. It does not solve any problem. Next up, the Boons. Yeah. This is gonna be a long story, so sit tight. The Boons are really lacking in my opinion, and there are a couple flaws here. First of all, the Boons are very flat. There are 6 tiers, and the first 5 tiers are all super basic boons. There are hardly any special boons to choose from. The old boons, on the other hand, were extremely complicated, and this actually led to issues with server performance. There were so many calculations with every attack that the server at some point couldn't keep up anymore. However, as for the new ones, it's just too big of a step. The second flaw is that if you have all campaigns done, you can basically get all the good boons in here. Here I have 57 boon points, so this toon actually doesn't have all the stuff unlocked, but with all campaigns done, you can basically get all of the good boons. This means hardly any versatility here, which is sad. All except the final tier boons are either flat stats or a low percentage increase of something, like 1% increase to damage versus demons, or 1% less damage. Only the master boons have something special, and you can only pick one. The third flaw of the new boon system is that all campaign unlocks for boon points give you one basic boon point to spend on. So hard or simple, each task rewards the same. Why would you unlock the final SKT boon if it will only give you 250 of a basic stat? It's just a joke. During pre-beta testing, we actually had a proposal to tackle these flaws. The idea was this: a 3-tier boon system across campaigns, so still one screen with 3 tiers. The first tier boons were only flat increases of a primary stat, so I'm talking about power, armor penetration, defense, all of these. Only that. Without an actual limit to how many points you can put in a tier 1 boon. So no more maximum of 5 or maximum of 2. Here you get 500 critical avoidance and you can put 2 points in it. 1000, that's like nothing. Especially in a new system where you have pets that give 8000 critical avoidance. What is this about? The boons do nothing here. In the new system, on the design system, tier 2 boons were the boons where you could get AP gain, recharge speed, percentage damage bonus to enemy types, movement speed, etc. And one addition to the tier 2 boons could also be a booster for the tier 1 boons, where you can pick one of the tier 1 boons and give that boon a higher value per point spent. These tier 2 boons would have a cap of maybe 10 or 20 points per boon, depending on how many boons have come out at the end and how much of a bonus you get per boon. You don't want to get stuff get too crazy. So these are still relatively simple, but already you have a lot more choice. The tier 3 boons that we thought of would be where the fun was at. Special boons that give nice effects. These boons could have stacks, but it could also be made such that taking one of these special boons would cost multiple points if you wanted to decrease the amount of special effects to attacks. Each boon could have a separate cost based on how good the boon would be, giving this system a lot of flexibility. And this would already tackle issues 1 and 2. You would have too many boons to fill, especially tier 1, which would be unlimited, and there would be interesting choices and builds here. You could specialize for certain dungeons, certain content. You could optimize in a certain way for groups in that buff in a certain way. There would just be more versatility. The third issue of the campaign tasks feeling the same could be tackled by making certain campaign tasks give multiple of certain boons. Let me give you an example. You could have, for example, the last SKT boon, a campaign boon unlock, it could give you 3 tier 3 boon points, 2 tier 2 boon points, and like 5 tier 1 boon points. Just to give you an example. And this way, harder campaign tasks could be rewarded with more value instead of just 1 point, which gives you 500 awareness or critical avoidance or whatever it is. 500 deflect is just lackluster. Sadly, our proposal was not accepted, and the rest is history. Next up, the feats. As for the feats, they're here. Oh, I still need to choose something. As for the feats, we definitely went the same route as the boons. We had quite a lot of options for feats, many paths to follow with different playstyles per path. Some of the paths, to be fair, are not viable, but still, many options make for versatility, choice. Now we have a total of 20 feats per class, 20 per Paragon path. Here you see the 10 for the Warden, Ranger Warden. Some of the feats are extremely bland. So this is a little bit lackluster. There are some good feats in there, like I mentioned before, focused, I think it's here. I really like the concept of this feat because it really changes how you have to play your class. And feats should be about changing playstyles or really changing your powers drastically. They should really affect your class, but they do not. Having more choice here, like having a feat choice for every 10 levels, so you would have a total of 8, and maybe choose from 3 instead of 2 would have been better in my opinion. Just having more options, making more mistakes. Basically in the past we also had 3 choices with the 3 paths, and now we have 2. Of course, the options have to be chosen well to make this better. So that's most of the bad stuff of mod 16, things that I don't really like. So let's talk about the things that I do like, or yeah, the concepts that I like. First of all, the revolution, as I want to call it. Neverwinter needed a change, a big change. And this is what I like to call a revolution. It's a massive overhaul of how the game has to be played. At least from a PvE standpoint. I cannot say much about PvP, but on PvE it was necessary. With this point I'm talking of course about the class overhauls and the combat system rework. Content was just too easy for all the optimized builds and optimized group setups, the support meta. It was so easy that the devs made rewards endless grinds, which mostly hit the not so endgame players because they were not able to run through content as fast. With these changes, if they are done properly of course, the devs can tune up rewards for dungeons. To be fair here, we haven't seen those up rewards as of yet, but I do think that we will see them at some point. For me, the removal of recovery and AP gain is fine, as long as everything is still balanced and without bugs. Encounter powers, and especially dailies, should be a lot more powerful and a little bit more rare. Next up, the evolution. A level cap raise is just natural progression of an MMO. It's fine if it happens. I like level cap raises because it kind of mini resets the game, and there are so many new opportunities for finding new gear and builds this way. Plus it gives a lot of new possibilities for content. This evolution includes cap raises for enchantments, runestones, insignias and gear, and we also have new weapons, which is just totally normal. The problem with this evolution is that it is mixed with a revolution, and that should actually never happen. You should not mix those two. It does not work. It's just too much. In itself, however, I totally don't mind level cap raises. Next thing I like is the Undermountain areas and the campaign. The new campaign is a necessity for a level cap increase, but it's also done well in a nice area. We have a lot of new content here that builds upon what worked well. The expeditions, for example, are a reworked kind of hunts with even more versatility, where even the maps are slightly randomized. I do think it still needs a bit of tweaking, but if this is the direction the game is going into, I think it's a good direction. Randomization can be a very strong tool when applied correctly. Next up, the companions. Yes, there are a lot of things rebalanced here, mostly downwards, which can feel a bit sad. Also, companions that used to be great now are complete trash, which is not okay. That's maybe not that great. However, those are the details in my opinion, where some of the work went a little bit wrong. In the basis, however, the fact that you don't need idle companion slots anymore and the better versatility in slotting and active and slotting unlocked powers really works a lot better. They actually added versatility here, at least the possibility of versatility. Additionally, the new bolster system gives some extra room for upgrading your toon. Seeing that the old bonus was 16% and now you can get up to 35%, well, some people call it a cash grab, but I wouldn't really call it that, because you don't have to upgrade and you don't really lose that much of your old power if you don't do it. You can, but you don't have to. Next up, the campaign challenges. Giving people a reason to go back to old content is always a good idea. It keeps the old content relevant and being played. There's nothing worse than having to catch up and being in old zones where nobody is there to help you with heroic encounters or other challenges on the map. So getting people back to the old maps, I think, is a good thing. It also keeps the content just alive. People just have more to do. Next up, the last thing that I like, and that's something that I've been covering lately in videos as well, and that's the exchanges. Mod 16 brings huge rebalance changes. Lots of things are just different, so having exchanges in place to trade enchantments, runestones and obsolete stuff, insignias, it's really necessary. While not 100% confirmed that they will be on live as well, I do think that they will be there because it's really needed to prevent mass panic on the auction house. It just would have been nice to have this on preview from the start, so people would not have sold their stuff already. And also it would have been nice to have this in the closed beta actually. Talking about the closed beta, for the moment, from the moment I got the mail to be able to participate in the closed beta, I was excited. I've always said, the gap between the dev team and players needs to be closed, and this definitely was a good first step. It was a first step though. In the future, I do hope such a closed pre-beta test can be done again, and I hope everyone learned from the Mod 16 session. So that concludes my video for today. Some things you might agree with, some not. This is my opinion. Mod 16 is ambitious, huge, and most of all not finished yet. If you have any remarks on this video or any suggestions on what to investigate next, feel free to leave a comment below and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching and see you in the next video.